So let me put y'all on real quick. There's a term that I call the Beyonce effect in anime, right? So what it is, and honestly, you can call it anything you want to. It doesn't really matter what you call it. The principle is going to remain the same. You can call it the boy band effect. You can call it the girl group effect. You can call it NSYNC, Justin Timberlake, Beyonce, Destiny's Child, whatever your heart desires, right? Whatever gets your nips hard. Beyonce effect is basically this. The person that is the catalyst to the story, that is the biggest influence on why the story is happening, is going to be the reason, or the person that ends up with the main character, okay? It's the person that is the reason for the season. They are the reason why the show happens. Without them, nothing gets kicked off, right? Without them being there, everybody else goes on their same way. They may never even connect. They may never be friends, you name it. So in an anime, it is a storytelling cliche. It is a way of telling the story that gets to a certain ending that you can always predict. This does not go for every single rom-com, but it is for the ones that end in a particular fashion because it's the most predictable and it's the easiest to replicate. The same way that you will see in many of these, there are side characters that never really get explored. They sort of exist just to be there, just to be a deterrence, a delayance in the actual story. They never really had a chance. So the blue hair girl in Toradora, she's the same way Onodera is in Nisekoi, is the same way that any childhood friend or older woman character is in How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend. It's all connected. So next is going to be everybody's favorite rom-com, which is Oregairu, or My Teen Romantic Comedy. The shit, look, this to me is how SpongeBob was in the show, where he was writing an essay and you could swear he was just going to town. He was like, yeah, this and that. And at the end of all of that, all it was just the word "the" on the paper, and it was just wrote really fancy. That's exactly what My Teen Romantic Comedy is. Everybody really likes this show, but to me, it's just a fancy way of doing the same thing. And that's because the person at the end of the day that is the Beyonce is the person that's the catalyst, which is Yukino. Yes, big shocker, right? Anybody that thought Yui was going to win doesn't understand how simple that story really was. They wanted her to win from day one. Anybody that comes from nothing, like any enemies to friends story, is going to win out over the girl that has always liked the MC. It's just how that works. That's how Onodera was too. If you like him from day one, he don't fucking want you. Okay, and that is how it is in My Teen Romantic Comedy. The story didn't explore Yui as much as it did Yuki. You didn't hear about Yui's family life or her career path or anything like that. All of that was designated for the Beyonce character because that's who they wanted you to focus on in the first place. Now, the last one, it may be a little bit of a tricky one, right? Quintessential quintuplets. It's a little tricky at first because the story doesn't necessarily tell you who the Beyonce is at first. It's a little tricky to figure out who the Beyonce is, but once you figure out who the Beyonce is, it's the same formula, right? And so it's obviously Yotsuba, the person that ends up with the main character. You might be like, well, why is she the Beyonce? Nobody really liked Yotsuba. Everybody liked Miku and Ichika and whoever else. Well, it's because Yotsuba is the reason for Futaro's change into who he is today, right? Without Yotsuba, he does not become the study holic that he is to then later on grow up and then become their tutor. Right, so you wouldn't know that because as children they looked a lot similar. Their hair color was the same, they had the same length, and so they didn't differentiate between the characters just yet. But the principle was the same. Each one of these stories, the person who is the catalyst to the story, the person who is the reason for the story being able to be formed in the first place, is the one that wins out. Now, obviously, this is not the same for every single story, right? It doesn't go for every single rom-com, but this is why it's the cliche. It's the easy, formulaic, repeatable pathway that you can use, right? This is why you're able to say, oh, the childhood friend isn't going to beat the main girl, right? The older woman isn't going to beat the main girl, etc., because of that same formulaic path that they want to take, right? Honorable mentions, you have Oresuki, right? The person who is the reason for the season becomes the girlfriend.